The data centers are coming. They're coming. When farmers, and again, I am active locally, across the state, in Maryland, in West Virginia, and nationally. My employers allow me those opportunities. When farmers can no longer make ends meet, they sell. And the data centers are paying well above the asking price. They swoop and buy the land, and then will bully all of you. There is no state guidance right now on these data centers at all. So they will bully. Amazon has bullied Stafford. Amazon has bullied William County. Amazon has bullied King George. We are either going to become a community that supports the data center industry by manufacturing and producing electricity, or we're going to become a Netherlands County where we are a data center community. And these are stark realities that we have to face. The landscape here is changing. The population is changing. Within your districts alone, Supervisor Nichols, Supervisor Hale, more housing is coming. We aren't farmers. We have to commute. These local jobs, these 122, and as I understand in construction, 122 is probably the peak manpower. So with all the concern about congestion, you ramp up your manpower, you get the peak, and then you start ramping it down. So any of that stuff is going to be there. Will I probably work on this project myself? No. Again, I work for a national electrical contractor, and we are actually a competitor. My company, they build thousands of acres across the state of Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, and this is farmland. It's a stark reality. People are losing their farms, and I'm not going to speak for the property owners that were speaking today, but I don't know their financial situation. But if they are faced with losing their farm, or taking an opportunity where they can keep their property, keep it in their family for multiple generations, that's something that's not an easy decision for them to make. So we have to come to terms that Orange is changing.
All right, thank you, sir.
Not only are these 122 good-paying, six-figure, blue-collar jobs, but they also represent opportunity for the community. Whenever we start projects like these, the first place we look to recruit is within the county where they're happening. So yes, some of the residents here may work on this project, but we will also be going into the high schools, into the trade schools, and recruiting directly from the community. That's a foothold into a career pathway that can lead to, like I said, six-figure jobs, full dental, healthcare, vision, retirements, 2 pensions and annuity, incredible opportunities for their families. Now, in addition to that, our residents who do live here want to see their tax dollars spent well. You all are burdened with an incredible responsibility to not only be good stewards of the land, but also to be good stewards of those taxpayer dollars. So when you're faced with outlays in the future to meet your capital improvement plans, and you're worried about how you're going to meet that deficit, you have to look at creative solutions to generate that revenue, those millions of dollars in gap. This is a unique situation where you have a project that will bring $24 million over the life of the project to the county, and at the same time preserve that rural character in a way that it can not only be returned back to agricultural use, but improved from where it began. Now, I'm going to take a second to give a little bit of perspective, not with the IBW, but me personally. I grew up on a farm, surrounded by thousands of acres of farmland, 1,000-acre farms, 200-acre farms, 50-acre farms, right? I was protected by a comprehensive plan in which we were labeled as a rural crescent, right? We were protected by our comprehensive plan. In fact, I got together with my neighbors and actually fought development, major road expansions, different, Disney World, all kinds of different things coming into our community, right? And we were successful for a really long time. We stopped the major roads, we stopped a lot of the industry that would come into our rural area. But ultimately, after we stood up and we fought for so long, people didn't want to farm anymore. People couldn't make money on their farms. The next generation, most often actually, it's the children or the grandchildren found other means of employment and they didn't want to farm anymore. So they went to sell their land, and they did it in a way that was by right. So what did we immediately get? We got fields, fields of houses on 10-acre lots, golf courses, everything that you don't want to see, things that really destroyed a rural characteristic, that, baseball field that clogged up the roads. If you're not smart and don't take advantage of the good deals when you have them to keep your characteristics and still generate revenue, there's going to be development. After tonight, these people are going to sell by right.
Characteristics of these areas featuring a mix of agricultural activities, residential neighborhoods, and small-scale commercial uses. That describes the neighborhood around True Blue and Old Office to a T. Future use for this land category includes preserving the rural character by protecting the predominant land use, agriculture, from conflicts with incompatible uses, such as commercial industrial power, like Sunfish Solar. The developer says they will preserve current land uses where feasible. That wording gives them a lot of leeway to ignore the purpose of the A2 category. To address a few other comp plan goals and objectives, surrounding historic resources with acres of solar panels is not preservation. Economic development opportunities. The applicant has not provided information to document their experience in workforce development that they might have had at previous solar sites. This seems aspirational at this point. As for jobs, their choice of words like potential and possible gives a pretty hazy outlook to economic opportunities. Support to county infrastructure. Solar's undependable intermittent energy will not contribute much. Supporting a safe and efficient transportation network. The applicant has said that they will provide a construction traffic plan as part of the site plan. However, the period of time that construction is underway is the most impactful for residents and citizens passing by. It's a public safety issue, and the plan that they develop for this period will not be long-term and not contribute to providing a safe and efficient county transportation network. Lastly, the applicant's objective is to carve out an industrial use from rural agricultural and forestal land. The comp plan's objective is to sustain and enhance agricultural and forestal land. I hope that you'll agree with the Planning Commission's determination on this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm against basically the appeal. As citizens, we don't have really the ability to focus on zoning requirements. We're looking at the broad, comprehensive plan and what it seeks to promote, so we can't do the deep dive. I really hope that Madison Solar is not going to set the minimum standards, for solar development in the county. The continuing agricultural use. The continuing agricultural use is not any of the conditions put on the current proposal. Sheep and butterflies are great. We know that BayWa has been involved in several projects throughout the country. Bluebird Solar out in Kentucky. It is over 1,000-acre project, and they've guaranteed 2 acres for pollinators. Okay, so what's the use for agricultural use for sheep? How many sheep? It's aspirational, which is really sweet. I urge the Planning Commission to reject the appeal as this application is deficient and is not in compliance with the comprehensive plan insofar as Sunfish Solar does not sustain the rural character of the county and actually will detract from the quality of life for its citizens. Thank you very much.
My support for the Sunfish Solar project and generally for clean renewable power and for investing in our infrastructure for the next 5, 10, 30 years. I live over on Mormont, born and raised in Orange County. And I've got a couple business and economics degrees, and I work with my dad, the architect, on sustainable construction. While I don't put much stock in it, people here seem to like mentioning how long they've been living around here. So we've been in Virginia since before the revolution. Of course, things have changed a lot since then, and they keep on changing. You've all noticed how hot this summer has been. In fact, it's the hottest summer the world has ever seen. And next summer and the one after that, they're going to be even hotter and longer. What that means is that everybody's going to run their air conditioning more and more. More usage, that means more demand, leads to higher prices. Unless, of course, you increase your supply of electricity. From a numbers and economical point of view, we need as much energy production as we can get. Virginia is facing an energy shortfall, especially with hungry data centers nearby. Those big buildings and all these new homes with black shingle roofs need to be kept cool. So in practical terms, that means putting up solar panels everywhere we can, not only on houses and commercial buildings and rooftops, but also in fields that aren't going to be used. This particular project sounds like a dream. Just a few points. They say the county will get $20 million plus in tax revenue with minimal maintenance. So you set it and forget it, basically. It seems like an amazing deal.
Good evening, Supervisors. I'm Beth Robles of Beechwood Farm. My family has lived in Beechwood since the 1930s and are fifth-generation farmers. We oppose Sunfish. I want to offer a few practical responses to BayWa's appeal of the Planning Commission. They speak of additional vegetative buffer around eligible historic resources. In this generation's lifetime, and maybe even the next, it is not a buffer. It is landscaping that will take decades to grow and become a buffer. They ensure they'll carry aspects of this project in accordance with the standards of Orange County staff. How about the Madison Solar Project, our only example in Orange of similar promises made and not kept? This was a project several times smaller with huge negative impacts, while BayWa's contracts and bonds stand. They mentioned no eagle's nest within 6 miles. We are within a couple miles of the proposed project, and just a couple months ago, I took a picture of a bald eagle on an electric pole right outside my backyard. Research shows that eagles' territories are on average a mile in diameter from the roost. They promise topsoil will be stockpiled and reused on the site, but how about the decommission of 1,000 acres? What will be the damage, the runoff, the chemical leaching? This needs to be thought out thoroughly, not only for this, in quote, smaller 1,000 acres, but resultant solar panel applications that will ensue if this one goes through. They redefine the aesthetic and the agricultural ethos here. They say current, in quote, current landowners use the land for agricultural purposes and have no intention of creating a business based on ecotourism in the future. The proposed project will continue the current land use with a shift from beef cattle grazing to sheep grazing, unquote. But this is sheep grazing under big black reflective panels. My relatives were not only tenant farmers who came here in 1934, they were also published writers and shared extensively the breathtaking beauty of the area in prose. They captured the heartbeat of why ecotourism flourishes here. Just because the current landowners wanting these panels are not interested in ecotourism, Orange County is. Ecotourism and agritourism is blossoming in Orange and is fit for the ethos of her heritage, embellishing her beauty and history, unlike panels hovering over sheep, butterflies, and bees. I wanted to clarify a slip in my wording during the Planning Commission meeting. I mentioned how we were approached for a transmission line through our property to connect Sunfish to a phase 2 on Horseshoe Bend. They said, quote, the Sunfish project will not expand beyond the site plan submitted to the county for current consideration, unquote. This is misleading. Of course, Sunfish will not expand, but a transmission line will connect Sunfish to a proposed Oak Green project for which leases are already on file with the county. I'm not against solar energy. I'm against the pursuit of it at the expense of Orange County's finance assets. Thank you for your time.
My name is Susan Garnett. I speak to you tonight as a once proud property owner and resident of Orange County, but not anymore. This is because my county and my neighbors have let me know that I do not have the same property rights as they do. My land is their land. Any view of my land is owned by my neighbors. They can do with their land as they see fit, and I've never complained. but I cannot. They can erect acres and acres of greenhouses, which look a lot like solar panels, but without the vegetative barriers that solar panels provide. No county ordinance against those. No county ordinance against solar panels either. Industrial turkey barns on the banks of the Rapidan are okay. Entertainment venues that invite thousands of cars into my neighborhood, so says the owner, are okay. Property owners can cut lumber from their land, and I have to endure near-death misses from giant log-loaded trucks on our narrow, barely maintained county roads. That's all okay. Farmers can bring in truckloads of city sewage to fertilize their fields that I smell for weeks. All okay. But not solar farms. Why? No legitimate answer. No ordinance. Therefore, I am here as a once proud property owner with limited property rights to ask the county to do the right thing for me. You've made it clear that you're not going to allow solar farms, but you have not made it clear to the citizens of Orange County that you will be raising their taxes due to unfunded projects ahead. I ask that those of us who are being denied our property rights be forgiven our property taxes henceforward. Let the good citizens of Orange County who cherish the view of my land pick up the tab on the taxes that me and my fellow citizens for solar have to pay. I implore you to do the right thing. You have to know that your constituents are not just those in orange vest.
My name is Reeves Garnett. I'm not going to follow my mother as well. I have followed along with this, project. I followed along with a ton of projects. It's a huge thing in the U.S. And I think I should speak probably in the more macro sense of who you're going to listen to, right? The solar folks have covered in the appeal all of their various numerous ordinances and how absolutely above and beyond they have gone to hit it. And I think we need to discuss what this opposition is arguing. You might know them in other neighborhoods as NIMBYs, or not in my backyard. Now, these folks probably did previously have backyards in whatever suburb they used to live in. But what they have done is, as all NIMBYs do, is make sure that no one else can do anything that would interfere with their perfect little life, their wondrous viewshed of other people's land. So if you are, for example, a farmer trying to make ends meet, or set your family up with a solar company, tough luck. You didn't think about how this would affect the beautiful, beautiful views of your property that these NIMBYs now have ownership over. You might not even have realized, being just a simple farmer, but when they moved in, they bought your land too. It's pretty selfish sounding to me. But they aren't really the people at fault here. They're not. They regurgitate some lines, but they are not, they're not evil. There is a truly insidious group here, and that is the professional anti-solar folks. These are the cancerous growths of the fossil fuel industry, lobbyists, consultants, what have you, and they know good and well what Exxon and others pay. They also know damn well how very easy it is to get some NIMBYs to show up and throw on matching outfits to go put down progress. They will have accomplished their goal here and move on to the next place. Their catchphrases are the classic, "Oh no, we love solar, just not this solar." They move on like locusts, they cash their paychecks, and when these communities look back, they are left holding on to a pile of nothing with no way to cover the growing costs of running a county. This group of anti-solar lobbyists aren't going to pay the bill. Hell, they aren't even going to be here when the bill is due. And do you know who isn't going to thank you when their property taxes go up to pay for that shortfall? That group of NIMBYs that was so vociferously against it previously. So if you want to get in bed with these folks, that's fine. But just know that the rest of the county isn't going to thank you for driving away business. And the folks that you are kowtowing to when the bills come due are not going to suddenly cast aside their selfishness and be understanding. Good luck.
Unlike many here tonight, I didn't grow up on a farm. I'm not a farmer. Probably couldn't grow something if you paid me. But I do know something about what people think about this area. Every year, we host thousands and thousands of people that leave the cities, that leave their areas to come here. And one of the things they almost always say is the drive. The drive to get here. It's not just about the town, it's about the county. It's about what they experience and what they don't see and what they don't get where they are. This is one of the things that makes us so unique. And so in a real sense, this is not necessarily an issue about solar. It's not even about money. It's about two things, legacy and identity. What is going to be our legacy and what is our identity? Not just what is Orange County, but what is Orange County going to be in the future? I think those are two things that are very important. Supervisor Hill, you conveyed it perfectly. We who are here, and especially those in leadership, have the responsibility to maintain and protect that identity. Our identity is what makes this area special, unique. It's why people move here, stay here, vacation here, because there's just something about Orange County. When a county or a town betrays what makes them special, or tries to become something they are not, this almost always marks the beginning of the end. I saw it firsthand in the small town that I grew up in. But when a town, when a county embraces who they are, what makes them unique, and pushes back against all the outward industries and things that try and change who they are, when they embrace who they are, that's when they flourish. And that's when they truly maintain and continue to be just how special they are. That's what makes these places, Orange County, stand apart. And that's what will make us stand apart in the future, is if we maintain what was given to us through legacy, through identity. If we can keep what was handed down to us, and if we can maintain that very important basic principle, if we can leave it better than the way we found it. Thank you.
Supervisors, my name is Joe Robles. I live at 26147 Raccoon Ford Road, right here in Orange County. I want to start out by saying that we're not opposed to properly sited industrial solar projects located in prescription zoned for industrial purposes, but we are very concerned about industrial projects sited on prime agricultural land, especially in areas where ecotourism is becoming a mainstay. This is why both my wife, who just was up here, and I oppose the project. And we do concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission. A few quick examples. From page 28 and 29 of the Comprehensive Management Plan, in quotes, land in the A2 area is intended to promote the agricultural lifestyle and to protect the characteristics of both our small neighborhoods and farming communities. The plan for these areas is based on a modest increase in the number of similar or compatible mix of uses adjacent to existing residential or commercial developments. So the 932-acre Sunfish project, in my estimation, does not promote the agricultural lifestyle, nor does it protect the characteristics or the sense of place, if you will, of our farming communities. And it most certainly is not a modest increase in the number of similar or compatible mix of uses.